Hello everyone, VanguardOfValor here, and welcome back. We're here and into the breach on our fourth and final island, trying to do our last couple of missions before we go and deal with whatever may be waiting for us at the very end. Remaining to us, though, is one final choice, whether we go to Containment Zone D or elsewhere. But we definitely want those 2 corporate reputation stars, so we are absolutely going to Containment Zone D. Hopefully, it won't be too nasty, even though it does have a high threat detection. Disposal Site C is pretty interesting, because it gives us 2 power and a star, but right now, those 2 stars are far more valuable. So Containment Zone D, here we come. An acid tank has been deployed to this sector. Take out any VEC hit by the tank, then secure the sector so we can study the VEC remains. You got it, boss. Actually, there we go. Whoop. Well, let's go. We have to protect the coal plant and kill 4 enemies with acid, but since we have a tank that applies acid, that should be pretty straightforward. Let's go. That is a lot of alphas spawning right away, though. We got a regular burrower, but an alpha hornet, firefly, and spider, and the alpha spiders are real annoying. So let's put our team in here in a position where we can hopefully do an effective amount of damage in a hurry. This is probably going to get hit with a spider egg, which means I might actually want to put them artillery in the back here, so we can more easily reposition to clear the spider egg, no matter which of those places get hit. But we will find out what happens. Hopefully they don't spider egg our combat mech, because that guy really needs to be able to move this turn to deal with all of these bugs. But we'll see. They're going to all scatter anyway, so we'll find out what happens. Alright, that guy's not attacking anything important. They've really powered in here. That's kind of not what I was hoping they would do, but we'll have to deal. We've got a spider attacking here. Okay, this is a fairly unpleasant start here now. We can remove this guy by just shooting him once with the artillery, so that might be what we wind up doing. Just drop 1 artillery shell on him, move these guys out the way. We do need to do something about the Alpha Hornet, but once he's out the way, we should be able to bring the acid tank around and potentially apply acid to him and then use the tank to one-shot kill him. This is the only other guy that would be a concern then. But unfortunately he hits for 3, so we can't body block him with the combat mech. What would be an alternative play here? We do have to do something to the burrower. We have to do something to the Alpha Hornet. If I drop an artillery shell here, that won't do anything to him, but it will push this guy out of the way. Won't do anything to the him. That's some words right there. Now, we could, theoretically, take the cannon mech, jump him to here, which would bounce this guy off the spider, then use the punching mech to come over here and kill the firefly and block the spawn. Then use the artillery to kill him. No, because then this guy still doesn't get moved out of the way, and he's going to be attacking this building. We can use the acid tank to apply a double damage debuff to anyone we want, but as it stands, we can't use the acid tank and then also move him out the way. So what I think we have to do here is move the artillery into this position, move the acid tank back 1, shoot this guy with the acid tank, use the artillery to kill him, turn around and shoot the Alpha Hornet, because I can't shoot him this way because he'll hit the wall, and then try and do something else, because our tank would then... we could put him in a position like this to shoot the Alpha Hornet, and that would be the most we could do, though. We can't then do another action, because if we move him, we can't shoot twice. So, like, I could use the booster to jump over here, but then I can't shoot the Hornet, and I can move over here and shoot the Hornet, but then I can't use the booster. And we need this guy to get out the way. We can get in front and punch it, but that doesn't kill him, and then this guy kills that building. How else could we handle this? Because I think what we need to do is basically come over here and punch this guy. This thing is probably going to spawn no matter what, but because it's just an egg, it doesn't do any damage to things next to it, and the spiderling would be something we have to deal with next turn. So that's probably what we're going to have to deal with either way. We could move over here and bounce him off of the spider, which would do 2 damage right away, 1 for the bounce, and leave him at 2 health, which would mean we can come in front with our... Actually... If we jump here, that would do 1 damage right away, then the cannon shell does 2, then the bounce does another 1. No, that leaves him with 1 health, which isn't quite enough. How far can our acid tank move? He has a movement of 4, so he could go... If we can clear out one of these, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, acid this Firefly, and then punch him to death. That would let us kill him. We just need to deal with these 2 otherwise, which we can't quite do, but we can at least move the tank over to here and move him out the way so he doesn't attack anything important. That might be our best move here. The only problem is, in order to kill this burrower so that he can get out, I have to move the artillery here, which would push him back into us. Unless I use our Gemini missiles right away, stand him here, and Gemini him from that position, because then he can get out and acid the Firefly. It would mean we use our only Gemini missile right away on the burrower, but it might work. Alternatively, I could stand the artillery here and Gemini the Hornet, but then I can't attack... No, because I can't attack the burrower. Okay, no, there's a better play here. There's a much better play. The play is, move the artillery over 1. Gemini missile the Alpha Hornet, which kills it instantly. Then I can move the cannon mech, I can boost him over to here, which will deal 1 damage to the Alpha Firefly and 1 damage to the spider. Once we've done that, I can turn around and shoot the burrower, which will move him underground, but won't quite kill him. But I can acid him first, which will mean he does die. Then I can bring the combat mech around, stand on this spawn point, and punch the spider to death, the Firefly to death. I think that's the play. Let's test it out here and make sure everything does what I think it's going to do. Yes, we killed him with the artillery. We do a bounce over to here. We acid this friend. Since it doesn't do damage to him, he doesn't go under. Since he can't be pushed, he just dies. Then we take our mech, stand on the spawn, and punch the Alpha Firefly. Not bad. Now I can stay on the spawn if I want to prevent anything else from showing up, or I can move over and let something spawn, because they're only going to add 1 enemy this turn, which might be better for us than letting them add a whole bunch at once, because now they've only got 2 targets that we really need to worry about. So I'm actually going to move over 1 on purpose here to let this spawn, because we have to go for 4 more turns, so blocking a spawn right now when they're only bringing in 1 more guy is probably not a big deal. Let's end our turn. Yeah, I think that was definitely the play. They brought in a leaper. He jumped onto the acid on purpose. They've tied down our tank, which is not a big deal, and they're attacking the building from there. Okay, so what is the play here then? We can easily kill the Alpha Spider with either our cannon mech or our combat mech. We may want to kill the Spiderling before it does anything unfortunate for us. This guy is probably our biggest problem right now. We can easily kill him with the artillery. Just stand here and shoot him. He'll take 6 because he's covered in acid, and that'll remove him. Then we can bring the acid mech around to coat this guy. The only question is how we deal with the Spiderling and also anything else. Because, like, I can jump out of the range of this and then cannon the spider, but that doesn't kill him outright. Unless I were to come over and coat him with acid somehow first. Like, I can shoot this guy, then turn around and shoot him. The Leaper is pretty easy to kill, but this Spiderling is the wrench in the works here. Because I can shoot him with the cannon mech. This guy dies no problem to a single cannon mech shot, but that bounces him off the building in the back, which is not great. Now, we don't have the fancy rockets, so I can't try and get enemies adjacent and kill them both in the same attack. What else would we do here? We can easily deal with everything except for this guy. There were a lot of alphas on this mission. You can tell we're on the last island, because they are throwing all the nasty stuff at us. Because even from here, Archimedes cannot kill this thing without hurting the building. The problem is, these guys are both in the same situation. None of our combat mechs here have an easy way to get into a position that stops them as it stands. Now, if we could kill the spiderling egg, that would be no problem. We could just move the cannon mech over to here, because he has 4 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. Never mind. Can't quite get that far. We have to kill this guy first, too. Because if the cannon mech... Well, we could do the double jump. We could do that now, actually. We could jump him over to here, then jump him over to here, and bounce the spider into the mountain that way. Because the boosters take you out of the web. So if we have to do that, that will work. And then we can just kill the rest of them, and this guy's not actually threatening anything, although he's going to be spawning more spiders, which we don't like very much. I don't know if there's a better play right here, though. We move this tank over, coat him in acid so we can get the acid kill we need. Shoot him with the artillery. Double jump our cannon mech over here to kill him. And we just have to deal with the fact that there's 3 enemies and still an alpha spider. Because everything else is threatening buildings, which means they have to go. I think this is still the play, weird though it may be. Because we can double jump. That was a little bit of an unusual play here, but it'll have to do. Now, do I punch him this way or do I punch him the other way? Because wherever he dies, he's going to leave an acid pool. And I kind of want him to leave an acid pool here instead of here. So I'm going to move Archimedes over to there and punch him this way. Now we can move again, and I'm going to try and block this building, I think. And that'll be our turn. Now this turn might get nasty, because we're going to have a spider and a bunch of other stuff. Thankfully they got a blood scion, which is not the most dangerous thing in the world. And they're kind of not using their turns very safely, so that's kind of okay. He's going to go for those tiles, which is fine. Blood scion doesn't do anything significant. He's shooting at the side. Okay. Okay, so this guy is probably our biggest problem right now. As it stands, we can kill him with some careful maneuvering. I think what we're going to do is we're going to move the artillery to here and use it to shoot this tile. That'll kill the spiderling and kill this egg by bouncing it off our artillery, who has full health, so he'll be fine. And it'll also move the blood scion out the way. Then we can take the combat mech over to here after we acid him with our acid mech and punch him to death. And we can shoot this guy with our cannon to bring him out of the way so he's not attacking or threatening anything. It means the spider still lives and is going to be back to full health because the blood scion's healing him. But it means we kill everything else, and I think that's probably our best maneuver here. Is there anything fancier we can do that would kill more enemies? I don't think so. I'd love to be able to kill this guy and get him out of the way, but I don't think it's going to happen. If we do this... It would be nice if we could shoot someone with this rocket instead of shooting nothing, but we kill 2 things with it anyway, so I think that's good enough. Then... we acid that bug. And punch him to death. I might stand on one of these spawns since it is the last turn that enemies get to spawn. Now, with our 2 shots, is there any way we can make that do anything more than just hitting him once for 2? I don't think so. If he stayed here, we could kill him, but because he immediately burrows again, we don't have an opportunity to do anything really fancy there. These guys over in the back We could boost over here and then shoot one of them, but we can't boost over here and then shoot him as well. So, I think we just have to shoot him once, which unfortunately doesn't do anything significant here. But I am going to move myself over back into the line of combat so that he has a better chance of being able to shoot twice next turn. And we're going to block this spawn, because I'd rather not have to deal with an additional pyre of enemies on our final turn here. Alright, they got another big hornet. Spider comes in. Our underground friend comes back. And we have threats all over the place, but none that we shouldn't be able to deal with if we put our minds to it. So, our tank can kill this and this. All he has to do is get the Alpha Hornet out the way. We can do that with our punching mech by moving here and dash punching into him. So these guys are all dead, and then we can use the artillery to kill him, but the artillery is stuck because of this spider. So as of right now, it looks like the Blood Scion is probably going to get to live again, because we can't easily kill everything else because of that spiderling egg. Does it matter? I don't think so. Is there any better way to kill more things in one turn? We can punch him, shoot him, and then shoot him again, but then both of these guys are alive, and that's not good. Is there a better play here? Does it matter how hard we hit these guys? This guy's covered in acid, so he's going to die in one shot. He only has 2 health, so he's going to die in one shot. If there was a way I could push the Blood Scion over one, then that would probably be nicer, but I don't think that's an option for us here. If we had an additional Gemini missile, we could use that to kill him, but we don't. So let's just go for the plan that we know is going to kill off all of the significant enemies in this fight. There we go. Now all that's left is some minor, nothing important enemies. We can bounce him off of our mech if we want for 1 damage, but I don't think that would kill him even if we coat him in acid, but let's test it and find out. If we stand Archimedes here and bounce him, does it still only do 1? Looks like yes. But let's test it. Yes, it still only does 1. Okay, so Archimedes is unhappy because he's on 1 HP, but it was worth it for the science. Acid does not double the bouncing damage. And that is the final turn. Alright, mission complete. A success, Commander. With your help, a sufficient number of Vec were inflicted with acid for study. We got both of our stars here and an extra power, bringing us 27% grid defense. And now, it's time to take on the corporate HQ. Alright, we have a Scorpion leader. We have to protect the corporate tower. We have 1 reactor core left to spend, which I could spend before we go in if we want. I'm hesitant to spend it because I don't want to waste it. But I think we're going to spend it on giving more health to one of our mechs. Probably our punching mech, so he can go in and block more things for us if needed. So let's give it to Archimedes. Give him the health. Hopefully that won't give us a problem later on down the line. And let's go fight the corporate HQ. Our sensors have picked up a Vec we've never encountered before. I fear it won't go down easy. Well, we have a Scorpion leader, which is going to be a nasty webbing and then doing a pile of damage guy, but let's go start the mission and see how it goes. There's a lot of acid, so we may be able to just blast him in 1 turn. As is sometimes the case when the acid doubles all the damage. So, what does he do though? Scorpion leader has regeneration from the Blood Scion. He attacks all sides, webbing all sides for 2 damage each. Okay, that's not too bad. We should be able to handle that. The Leaper, the Spider, and the Scorpion, though, means that they can effectively web our entire team if they want. And that's not so great, turns out. But we'll see what happens here. The other problem is that there's a lot of acid on our side of the map, which is going to make it harder for our units to get into position. But we will see. The big trick here, I think, for us is going to be not putting ourselves in a position where they can easily web all of us with one spider attack. Okay. Well, let's see how this goes. We may be in a pickle here, but let's get started. Boss immediately sticks himself in acid. Alright, we may be able to do this after all. All we have to do now is hit him one time. Spider comes in, webs our artillery. Okay, so we have a couple of interesting things here. Key player is that the combat mech is not webbed. Other key factor is that the only thing that's actually threatening is these two, which we can ignore. So here's the play, I think. How much health does he have? 7? Okay. Okay, maybe this goes easier than I expected. If we're willing to take 1 damage on our artillery mech, we don't even have to take 1 damage on the artillery mech. How do we want to do this? Because if we use the cannon to kill the egg, and then kill this guy, we can just back up 1 with our artillery mech and hit him with a Gemini missile that insta-kills him. That's pretty good, I gotta say. Let's do that. So let's shoot this egg. Let's shoot the leaper. Let's back up with him. And Gemini this bug to an early grave. And that is how you deal with a leader. You play them on a map with acid, and watch them acid themselves to death. Alright, all that's left is the Blood Scion. That is a good turn. Let's end that turn there. I'm going to leave the bonus action. I don't need it. They have a Leaper and an Alpha Burrower. The Alpha Burrowers are kind of nasty. Leaper's dead, though. We can just punch him to death. That's not a problem. This guy's a little bit annoying, though. Probably going to hit him with the artillery to make him go away. I think that's our safest bet. That way we can kill everything else on the map. Let's go here. Fire an artillery shell at him to make him hide. Use the tank to kill the Blood Scion. And punch the Leaper. We're going to have 3 enemies next turn, but we should be able to handle that no problem. Let's end our turn. We have some movements left, some extra actions, but I'm not too worried. I kind of want to stay in this center of the map. Because they're going to spawn and then move. Alright, he's back in a great position. Our tank can easily kill both of them. Okay, so we're actually in a pretty good spot here. The Alpha Burrower we can't kill in 1 turn. Nothing we have does 5 damage if they're not on acid. But we're going to punch him, so he's down to 1 health. And then we can actually clear out both of them with Silica's awesome double shot ability. And Abe is free to chill out. So let's move him over into the center a little bit more. And end our turn again. Of all of our leader battles, this one was by far the easiest, likely just because this map gives us those acid pools everywhere. So this guy's dead. Oh no, he's not quite dead. Okay, how do we want to handle this then? We can use our tank over here to shoot him once into our punching mech. That'll kill him off. This guy might be a little bit harder to kill. What's the best way to try and kill all of these guys? The fact that he has 5 health makes it unlikely because we don't have anything next to him to punch him into. We kind of just need to get out the way though, because he's not going to hit anything significant no matter what happens here. So the question is it better to just punch this Leaper to death, move over 1 tile and shoot him, and then attack the Alpha Firefly, or what is the best maneuver here? Because I can't kill him even with 2 shots from the cannon mech, it just doesn't do enough damage. Since bouncing into the back wall doesn't actually proc the ability to be hit again. Now I could move up and then boost him over 1 so he's in this line, but that doesn't do any damage, so even punching him here wouldn't kill him. It would just maneuver him around a little bit. I don't think that actually matters, and he's in a perfect line here where he doesn't do any damage. So we might just ignore the Alpha Firefly. I think it's probably safest. So let's punch this guy. Let's give Abe something to do here. Wait a minute. So what I'm seeing here now is we can actually kill them both. No. I can either kill the Alpha Firefly or the Alpha Burrower. If I use the 3 damage shell on the Firefly and then shoot him with a cannon shell, I can kill him, but then I can't get into a position to actually kill the Burrower. So I can almost kill all of them, but not quite. Unless I want to bounce him off a building, which we do not want. So let's just go with the original plan here and let that Firefly do nothing. There we go. That was definitely our easiest leader battle ever, but sometimes these things happen. The Vec Abomination is down and our corporate hub is intact. You and the Riftwalkers have Detritus's gratitude. Alright. Another perfect island. Detritus has an aggressive bonus plan for excellence in performance, Commander. You and your Riftwalkers deserve it. We can either take a flamethrower. That's kind of cool. Isaac Jones, who gives us an extra reset turn every battle, or 2 power for the grid. Do I want to set fire to enemies? I don't know if I actually do. What I want for my prime weapon is something that gives us more than a single tile of effective radius, so that our prime class punching mech can do something to more targets. This is a funny ability. It's pretty cool. The fact that you can extend the range out with it means I can shoot a row of people, but that's not really what I want here, because it's not going to do any more damage than 2, which means it's probably not what we need. So I'm going to take Isaac Jones here, just because it gives us that extra unlocked pilot for future runs, and that might be harder to get again in future. I don't really know. And then we'll see what we can spend our 9 corporate reputation on. Alright, let's spend our reputation. What are they selling? They're selling a Rocket Fist, which punches an adjacent tile and moves them back. You can shoot it. That's kind of fun. It gives us a Spartan Shield, which bashes an enemy, flipping its attack direction. That's pretty cool. We have Smoke Bombs, which allow us to jump over an enemy, covering them in smoke, which turns off their action. That would be pretty fun too. And we get Rocket Artillery, which fires a pushing artillery, which does 2 damage and creates smoke behind the shooter. Okay. We have a lot of stuff here we're probably going to sell too. We got a bunch of pilots we don't need. We have a bunch of weaponry we're probably not going to use, like the heavy rockets. We can get 5 additional power here. 5 additional corporate reputation, rather. Which we're probably going to spend mostly on reactor cores. But I might get the Spartan Shield, just because that's kind of a useful ability. It doesn't actually have the area effect I wanted, but it does let us totally flip something so it's not attacking the right way, which could be very useful. That could be very useful. So let's take... We're going to sell Isaac Jones for the 2 reputation. We got him unlocked now, but we don't actually need him. We're going to sell Prospero, because we're not going to use him for this final battle either. We might sell Ralph, because I don't think we can change pilots in the final battle anyway, so having additional pilots at this point doesn't help us. So let's also sell Ralph. And we're going to sell our heavy rocket, because we're not going to use that. There we go. We have 16 reputation to spend. So with that, we're going to buy a Spartan Shield and a whole bunch of power cores. Now we're a little bit short. Is there anything else I can... If I didn't buy the Spartan Shield, we could buy 5, which is pretty crazy, but I think this is a useful ability to have. We might spend the remaining 2 on overpowering our grid defense, because that'll put it up to 31%, which is pretty cool. Yeah, let's go for that. It doesn't make a huge difference at this point, But we're not going to get any more power otherwise. I like all these abilities. We're not going to get rid of them. There we go. 31% grid defense. And let's equip our gear here. We've got our Spartan Shield. I have 4 power to spend. I'd love to give 3 to Silica to power up that cannon, but I don't think that makes more sense than giving it to other people. If we give a bunch of it to Archimedes, then we can turn on the shield. I don't know if I care about buffing the damage on this, but getting a shield ourselves is pretty cool. That means we can absorb the first point of damage we take after we do that. The only question is, I don't actually know if the Spartan Shield's very good. We've committed to it. It doesn't do a lot of damage, it only hits one target, but it allows us to flip something we otherwise can't kill. I don't know if I want to put a whole bunch of upgrade points into it. It might be better to put 1 into Archimedes to turn on the Spartan Shield and leave the buffed health, put 3 into Silica to buff up the damage on the cannon, and that way we're probably as powerful as we're going to get. I can take the health off Abe and put it into the Gemini missiles as additional use if we want. That could be useful too, because that thing is pretty good, and we're probably going to need that firepower. I might just buff our health to make us more survivable here. We're definitely going to put 1 point into Archimedes. I want that extra health on the punching tank, and that way we can turn on the Spartan Shield. Then we have 3 points left to spend. We can either pump them all into Silica's damage, or put some into the Gemini missiles, some into Silica's health, and then also gain the shield on the punching, because we can use Archimedes really easy to block damage if we have a shield, which is actually really good with Fire and Forget. So we're going to want to... I think we're going to go with the more measured approach. We give Archimedes the ability to gain a shield when he hits people with that ability, because then he can go and get in the way again and block attacks if we can't kill things. We're going to give Silica a point so we can have more health on him, and we're going to give Abe a point so we can put it into the Gemini missiles. There we go. So he is almost maxed out on ability points, which is kind of crazy, but I think this gives us the most potential here overall. I mean, Silica's a little weaker than I'd like. I'd love that 3 damage on them. It means that Archimedes has that extra ability that we're looking for and is beefier. I think this makes the most sense. I don't care about the extra damage on that because this is not a killing move, this is a manipulating move. So there we go. Let's leave our last island. And now all that's left is the volcanic hive. Well, well. However, that is going to have to wait until next time. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor playing some Into the Breach for you. And until next episode, bye-bye.